So I want to talk about Atlanta a bit. Now, not only was tonight a great episode, we got some light shining on just what's wrong with Earn. And I think that that's probably the biggest question from season 1 and what we've seen of season 2 is what's Earn's problem? Like, what's wrong with him? Because the way we were introduced to Earn, drops out of Princeton, estranged from Vanessa. He latches himself on to his cousin, who's a rising star, becomes his manager, largely bumbles his way through that, eventually gets his ass kicked. We see last episode, gets fired, and from this episode, we see how Al, he's been looking out for Earn his whole life, clearly has this love for him and wants him to do well. So for him to fire Earn, that couldn't have been easy. And Earn would have had to be a really, really crappy manager and not that great a friend or cousin for him to do that. So why would Earn be so bad at managing and so bad at life? Because he's clearly bright, clearly pretty ambitious, seems like deep down a pretty good person. So why is he struggling so much? And I think we see this episode, we start to see some of the issues with Earn that started really early on, the kind of not feeling quite comfortable in your own skin and feeling a bit like a fake and a bit like you're not real. And remember that very first episode, we see Earn's on the bus and that guy offers him a sandwich. He says that weird cryptic life advice. Earn kind of blows him off, says, yeah. And then the guy offers him a sandwich, and Earn's like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to eat that sandwich. Now, you can interpret that as, oh, it's just a crazy guy on the bus. Of course he shouldn't eat the sandwich, but you can also interpret it as Darius, who's probably maybe one of the most well-adjusted people ever, at least on the show. He would have eaten the sandwich, taken a bite, said great, and probably bonded with that guy, had some deep chats. But Earn, he's very a bit standoffish and wary and not comfortable. And you know, deep right there, you just see someone's offering him food, a nice sandwich, and he turns it down. He can't because he's not quite comfortable. And I think that with Earn, we're starting to see that lack of comfort and that slight feeling of fear and wariness is just really, really deep rooted. And that insecurity that Earn feels, it can often manifest itself on a bit of arrogance, a bit of a chip on your shoulder. And the opening of season 2, we see Earn just ask someone flat out. He says, "How do I not end up like you? I don't wanna go down that road. I don't wanna be that smart guy that everyone looks at and says what might have been." The guy tells him flat out, "You gotta that chip on your shoulder. You gotta get rid of that." I think that's really important, and that'll be Earn's growth that he really needs to see. And then I loved how in this episode we get the literal argument over something being real or something being fake, when that's been a running theme with most of the characters we've seen. Vanessa, when she goes to that party to try to get a photo with Drake, and everyone's taking photos with the cardboard cutouts, and just this whole idea of fakeness versus authenticity. Al, when he goes and has this little odyssey through the woods, and it's about him, he's becoming more and more famous, but he still wants to be real, and he still wants to walk around like a normal person, and he starts to realize that this desire to be real, it's becoming a life or death matter. And then obviously there's Earn that I've talked about. So each character kind of has this struggle over being real or fake running through the season. I loved how they made it so literal and concrete in this episode. I also think there's a famous quote that this is like Twin Peaks for rappers. I don't think season 1 really quite, and there was that sandwich scene that I talked about, but other than that, I don't think season 1 quite lived up to that. I think season 1 seemed more like a typical rags to riches show about a couple friends and family trying to break into the rap industry and kind of just showing people's lives, and it was great. But I don't think it quite lived up to this hype of Twin Peaks for rappers. This season, the surrealism has been fantastic, where there's Teddy Perkins, incredible episode, that Woods episode that I just talked about with Paperboy, and then this episode as well. It's just been consistently these surreal, real, really out there, but really meaningful episodes. So I think fantastic season. Season 1 was great. I think season 2 is already better, honestly. So one of the best shows out there right now for sure.